So it's something that does happen every few years. And in fact, if you go back the last 25, 30 years, there have been at least five storms that cross Central America. Most of them do go from the Atlantic to the Pacific, but every once in a while, one will go from the Pacific to the Atlantic. Now, this year was unique because both Julia and Bonnie crossed from the Atlantic to the Pacific. In the case of both of those storms, because they basically continued as they were, they never lost their definition. They actually kept the same name once they got into the Pacific Ocean. And it makes sense while you're doing it, but when you go back later and look at the records, it's always confusing to see two storms starting with the same letter in the same hurricane season.
Very interesting. So why is it so rare? Is the topography of Central America have to do with that?
That part of Central America, the mountains are easily 2, 3, 4,000 feet high. Some of them are 8 to 10,000 feet high. So it's essentially a big wall right in the middle of that landmass that disrupts the flow of a hurricane.
So what's the criteria for keeping the same name versus getting a new one?
If you're watching a storm on satellite and you see it spinning and crossing Central America, it's going to keep the same name. But if you watch it and it totally fades away and you can't find it anymore, which is technically what the National Hurricane Center does, then it's considered done. That's the end of it. But if it's days later that it redevelops, then it's a new storm with a new name for whatever ocean basin it has just moved into.
So not really an exact science, kind of the discretion of the folks at the Hurricane Center too, right?
So much of meteorology is you're estimating, you're interpolating, you're trying to find data where none exists. So yes, there is some human subjectivity there.